Good morning, this is Zach, full-time reseller, and I'm sitting outside of my local Goodwill just waiting for it to open up. Gonna be doing some local thrifting today, see what I can't come up with. Follow along. Just me and one other individual heading in, which is kind of odd for a Monday morning. Hopefully find something good. I always check the new racks first, but since nobody's here, I'm gonna go check the hard goods. All right, I always like to come back here and check for snowboards. I can pick snowboards up for anywhere from $9 to $20 here. A lot of times they're kind of beat up, but I'll stash them away and do local Facebook Marketplace sales once the snow starts coming, as I live near 2 ski resorts and very near Southern Colorado. So got a couple beat up baseball gloves here. I'm actually really particular now about which brands of baseball gloves I buy. I try to buy adult gloves. I like Mizuno, Louisville Slugger, Nakona, sometimes Nike, but these are kind of beat up and just youth gloves, so I'm gonna pass on them. This aisle typically has printer ink, and I love selling printer ink. It sells pretty quickly, it's easy to list, and usually I can get it pretty cheap and make good money off of it, but not seeing none today. So I don't sell too many board games, but this one is sealed up. Unfortunately, I checked the comps on it and it's not worth grabbing, but a lot of board games sell better on Amazon. And so if you got an account, that's where I'd push them. So I thought these were platform Crocs, but they're just kids knockoffs, and I will skip them. There's no money in them. All right, so with fall pending and upcoming, I've been really trying to focus more on long sleeve shirts, flannels, warmer type shirts, Henleys, anything like that, jackets. I'm trying to find a lot of boots to source. And in my local area, I tend to find a lot of Western wear, but this Goodwill has a lot of it priced up if it's a good brand. So sometimes I just gotta hope that I find something that's maybe one of the pricers here at the store undervalued, put the wrong price on. This is a pair of Carhartt Grip Stop cargo shorts. They're a little bit big, but the worst part is that they're priced up at about $9 and some change, and I tend to find these at garage sales for just a few bucks. They only sell for about $17 to $22, so I'm gonna pass on these. This is a vintage Izod Lacoste men's polo. The price is a little high on it, but it's a pretty clean shirt. Sell-through is not super high, but people do collect these and buy them to wear, especially the Izod ones. Might think about it. All right, I found this pair of tactical pants, and they're ripstop material. I thought they were $5.11. They're unbranded though, and the price is kind of high, and the waist size is a little big, so I'm gonna skip them. So one of the only things I found today is a pair of Levi's 559 corduroy pants. They're in a pretty good size. Color's not faded too bad. They seem to be in good condition, and the sell-through rate on them is only about 64%, but that will increase as the cold weather comes into play. So I might just grab these just to have something to say I bought today. Went ahead and scooped up these corduroys, just decided to do it because I didn't find anything else today. And again, with winter coming, corduroy pants generally sell well, especially Levi's in this style and in this size. So I'm gonna race down to the next place, see what I can find. All right, outside another local thrift store, I don't buy a whole lot from this place, but once in a while I find something good, and there's always some really friendly ladies working here. This is a pair of BKE Jake jeans, but they got some stains and a big hole. And price is there, condition not so much. All right, so this New Wave oven could be parted out and there's a little bit of money in it, but that's a crazy price. So definitely gonna walk, and I don't want to store something this big either. Just pulling out of the parking lot of the thrift store I was just at. They just didn't have anything, and I seldomly can find things at that store. There are some things to buy, but they tend to have their jeans and their jackets and sometimes their shoes very priced up, and I can't blame them. They're supporting a good cause, but at the same time, it's hard for a reseller like me to be able to buy anything like that and make any money off of it. So you always got to be watching those prices and your cost of goods. Might race down to the next store. I might even stop at our local mall and just run in Ross real quick and see if I can't do a little bit of arbitrage. Thanks for following. Well, I decided to go ahead and skip doing any retail arbitrage today, and I just wanted to get down the road to the thrift store that's very near my home. It's Monday and they're closed over the weekend, but they do field a bunch of drop-offs over the weekend, so they have a lot of inventory coming in on Monday, and sometimes that's a good day to be down here just to look over anything new. And I've also got the benefit of going in their storage room before some of these items actually hit the showroom floor, so that's a super nice thing for me, and it's been really beneficial and helpful to my resale business. So I'm really grateful for the ladies that operate this thrift store. And again, it's also for a good cause. It helps support the local church right next door to it. And so I'm gonna race in here and see if I can't find anything. If I don't, not a big deal. I may do like I did last week and split this into 2 different days. Thinking about probably going up to Southern Colorado and doing some thrifting up there tomorrow, as it's just a lot better. But let's go ahead and see if we can't find something here. Been looking for a little while this morning at the local thrift store, and I wasn't able to come up with a whole lot, but the ladies that work here did set these Burn Kids coveralls to the side for me, and they're only a few bucks. They definitely need some cleaning, and I'm gonna go ahead and snag them because winter's approaching, and winter wear, work utility wear is definitely one of my big pushes, one of my big sellers. There is tons of old literature in my local thrift, but I don't do a whole lot of books, and it's just something that's not in my wheelhouse. So always walk by them. I'm sure there's probably some money in this. Just something you got to do research on and know a little bit more about. I don't find too much when I dig through the plush, but you never know what you might get. So right before I was about to pay and walk out, I did find this pair of women's Nike training gym shoes. They're fairly clean and they're pretty cheap, so I'm gonna go ahead and grab them. They always have a nice little small mug selection here, and a lot of the mugs are often vintage or very old. I'm always keeping an eye out for that Fire King Jadeite mug set. Gonna have to keep looking. So here's my take from my local thrift store. I went ahead and grabbed these Nike women's training shoes, and as I said, I did grab the kids coveralls. Only spent about $6. I should be able to turn both of these things for a decent profit. The coveralls will need some intense cleaning, but the shoes themselves are pretty clean and pretty ready to list. So pretty small grabs today, but that's all right. That's how it is on my local thrifting. So I am gonna go ahead and continue this video tomorrow when I do some thrifting up in Southern Colorado, and hopefully I'll have a better take from my picking up there. Thanks for joining. So thanks for staying tuned in. I have time traveled into the next day, and because yesterday was unsuccessful sourcing in my local community, I'll be doing the same thing I did in my last full-length video. I'll be traveling up to Southern Colorado to the town of Durango to do some thrifting up there at several better stores. It's just something I have to do. Unfortunately, I'm not in a big city like a lot of other resellers you might see and watch online. I'm in a smaller, more rural area, and so sometimes the pressure on the few thrift stores we have just makes it hard to find goods on a consistent basis. But fortunately, I am able to jump over the state border about 40 miles away from my house, and there's a plethora of good outdoor stuff, good clothing, good vintage goods, hard goods, things like that. So keep following along. I appreciate your patience. Hopefully I'll have a really good haul at the end today. Local post office, just doing my daily deed of dropping off parcels, and then I'm gonna haul ass to Durango. I'm just now backing up into the Goodwill in Durango, Colorado, and normally I don't start at this thrift store. I generally like to start at the thrift store that's furthest north, or the one that's furthest away from my home, and then I work my way back down south and hit the Goodwill and the Humane Society thrift store that are right next to each other. My mindset with that plan of attack is generally this: the thrift store that's furthest north is very small, but I find great deals on running shoes, and their clothes are super cheap. And when they open, there's almost nobody there. But it is 10 minutes away from the other 2 thrift stores that are south. Unfortunately, this morning I was just running a little bit behind. The traffic was a little bit slow, and that's all right. So I always like to get at any thrift store right when they open, and that's just such a simple tip. I always say that thrift stores are a lot like garage sales. If you're not there in the first 30 minutes to an hour, you're gonna probably miss out on a lot of the good new stuff. And so regardless of your plan of attack, being consistent is everything, and trying to be there early. So I'm gonna go ahead and race in here. I think it's just about to open, see what I can't come up with. All right, back at it. Let the games begin. So I'm attacking the jacket aisle first. This Goodwill hasn't had many jackets out, but now that we're working towards fall, that's something I love to push, and I find a lot of good puffers and working utility jackets here. So hopefully I find something good. There's some Mountain Hardwear convertible hiking pants, but unfortunately they're not a very good sell-through rate. I do like this brand myself, and I like to sell their puffer jackets, but some of their other stuff doesn't have a very good sell rate. This is a Wrangler Pearl Snap, and it has the proverbial sought-after extra long tails, but unfortunately it's a short sleeve, and the price is way high, so I'm gonna skip on it. I thought I found a banger here. This is a great brand, but unfortunately it's got holes on the shoulder, it's got holes on the back, so just gonna leave it. There are some screen masks out there that can be worth a ton of money. I don't believe this is one of them, and it looks like it has some fake blood splattered on it. I'm gonna go ahead and look at it a little bit more, but I think it's just one I'm gonna pass on. My grandmother had the Pyrex dish set that matches this, and I always remember my grandfather drinking black coffee all day long out of them. Nice reminder of them, sure miss them. It's generally a no-brainer. This is a Coco Motion by Mr. Coffee. I'm gonna go ahead and test it and see if it works. It's only $3.99. I found this pair of women's double knee Carhartt pants, and usually I'd skip on them for the price, but double knee pants generally sell for a little bit more. And so I'm gonna go ahead and grab these for $10.99. All right, so all I'm gonna go with is this Coco Motion and this pair of Carhartt double knee pants. I'm gonna go ahead and stand in line, pay, and get the heck out of here so I can move on to the next place. That's cool. That's a way cool shirt. So not real great in the Goodwill today, and that's all right. I did pass on a couple shirts I probably could have bought, but paying thrift store prices it's just hard sometimes. So gonna go ahead, race down here to the coffee shop, and then that'll give me enough time to use the restroom, grab a drink, and then I'm gonna race over to the next thrift store. The thrift store I'm going to next is the one I tend to find better clothes for a cheaper price. I sometimes come into good jackets, sometimes decent shoes, but their shoes are priced up. And hopefully I'm gonna keep my fingers crossed, keep them positive intentions, and hope that I find something good to resell for profit. All right, there's a growing line of people waiting for this store to open. All right, first thing, I'm darting back here to the heavy jackets for my investment. It's what I get the best return off of. And hard to say if I'll find anything good, but we'll just have to see. Not liking like too much today. Found a couple cool vintage windbreakers. This is a Nike from the late 90s. It is an extra large. It seems to be in fair condition, and it does have a pretty decent size. Gonna look it over. And then aside from that, I found this vintage starter CU, and it's pretty clean. I'm having a hard time finding any comps on it, but I might go ahead and scoop both these just since I didn't find any heavy jackets, and because they're vintage and they're cool. Came across these Levi's 514 corduroy pants. They seem to be in pretty good shape, and they're only $4 or $5. So I'm gonna go ahead and grab them, especially because corduroy pants are great to sell in the winter. This is a cool Halloween decoration. I love how they did this bridal gown up. Pretty funny. The fun thing about thrifting and doing this for work is all the crazy stuff you'll see at a thrift store. And so somebody was obviously thirsty with all these wine corks, but I also know that people like to craft with them, so it makes sense why they're here. I'm gonna find this very cool North Face mesh hat. I think it's early 90s. It is $10, but I think I'm gonna go ahead and scoop it because I love old vintage Gorp Core outdoor adventure apparel. A cool vintage Smiley wool beanie. I'm not sure if I'm gonna grab it, but it's just cool. So not too bad of a stop here at the La Plata County Humane Society thrift store. I was able to come away with the vintage beanie, the vintage North Face hat, a pair of Levi's corduroy pants, and I went ahead and put back the Nike windbreaker. It just had some issues. The zipper was getting hung up, and then the drawstrings on the hood were clipped off, and it had some stains, and I'm sure I could have sold it and made some money, but I just don't want to buy beat up stuff. I already do enough of that with work utility wear. And I also grabbed the Colorado University Buffaloes throwback vintage windbreaker jacket. That to me was worth grabbing because it was clean and it was only $8. I really couldn't find anything on it to figure out what the price was worth or the value, but I did see one that was a little bit different design go for about $49. And right now with Deion Sanders being the coach of Colorado, I thought it was just a good grab. If it was another university that wasn't as popular, I probably would have skipped on it, but I love the state of Colorado. I love the Colorado Buffaloes. So I'm gonna go ahead and head back down to New Mexico. I'm gonna go ahead and skip the third thrift store that I normally start with. It's just about 10 minutes out of the way. And at this point, it's a little bit late. It's getting towards lunch, and I'm sure most of the good stuff there has already been grabbed. So why not just head home? May make one more stop at my neighborhood thrift store. May just get back to the house and do a haul. Thanks for joining. All right, so here is my haul after several days of thrifting, one day in my local community and then today up in Durango, Colorado. Kind of like last week, it wasn't the best couple days of thrifting, but that's all right. It's just that way sometimes. And again, I like to be realistic and show people that living in a smaller community, it can just be that way. So don't give up. I'm gonna go ahead and step down and show you these items individually and let you know what I might be able to get for them. Okay, so I bought these Nike women's training shoes yesterday. I only paid $3 for them at my local thrift store. They were exceptionally clean and a very cool color. I didn't even look up what I'm gonna be able to get for them, which is something I don't usually do, but there are certain brands out there that I just know that I can grab if they're a certain price and a certain condition that I'd be able to sell, and Nike is definitely one of those because of the popularity. I'm thinking off the top of my head, I might be able to get somewhere between $25 to $35, maybe even a little bit more, plus some shipping. But it's something to list and it's something that I know will sell. And so after reselling for so long, I just kind of have some of those brands out there that I know to trust. And then another item I bought yesterday was this pair of Burn Youth coveralls. And let me focus this in a little. These coveralls, I think I only paid $4 or $5 for. They're a little bit dirty, so they're gonna need washed. And after I wash them, I'll go ahead and list them. These coveralls should be able to fetch me somewhere between $25 to $35. They're not a bad size. They're not a great brand, but they're not a bad brand. But with winter coming up, that's gonna help this, and I'll use good keywords. And then the last item I bought yesterday, I bought from my local Goodwill. This is a pair of vintage Levi's 569 corduroy pants. I should probably be able to get somewhere between $25 to $35. Certain corduroys of vintage nature in odd colors can fetch even more money. These are a little bit beat up. They got a little bit of color fade, but they're not in terrible condition. So I should be able to sell these. And especially with winter coming up, corduroys always are a good seller. So now I'm gonna switch over to some of the things I bought today up in Durango, Colorado. This is a super cool vintage starter windbreaker jacket. I was unable to figure out what the value of this is. It's probably just because it's rare and kind of old, but I did find one that was very similar and it sold on eBay for $49. So I did have to pay up on this item. I did pay $8, but it just was too cool to pass and it was very clean. And I'm sure with football season being in full swing, and again with Deion Sanders being the head coach of the Colorado University Buffaloes, that might just help the sell on this. So I might even throw his name in there as a keyword. That's just kind of how crude I am and how you got to do this game. So also above is a pair of Levi's 514 corduroys. And these are actually not that much off in size in comparison to this black pair to the right. But the black pair to the right are 569s, which is a much more baggy cut style of jean. And then the ones on the left, again, are 514s. These are not vintage, and so I probably won't be able to get as much for them. But I only paid $3 for them. I should probably be able to get between $22 to $25 for them. Plus, I'll tag some shipping on that. And so again, corduroy pants, solid sellers in winter. Now, this is a pair of Carhartt double knee women's canvas pants. I sell double knee canvas pants all the time, especially Carhartts. If you can find the right colorway, especially in men's like gravel gray or moss green, I have sold those colorways in men's sizes for upwards of $80 to $100. They're super popular. With the women's double knee pants, they're just not as sought after, and that's probably because there's not as many women in the labor sectors or in construction. But I've still sold these for between $30 to $40, and I did pay up on these. These were $10.99, but they're in great condition. Shouldn't have a problem selling these. I love Carhartt. Carhartt's my #1 seller in my clothing store. So I'm going to follow it up with the last two items. Both of these are very cool. I love vintage outdoor apparel, Gorpcore, whatever you want to call it. So to the right is an all-wool smiley beanie, and I believe this is probably from the late 80s, early 90s. It was only a couple dollars. I couldn't pass on it. These are not super sought after, but I did see that there was a few funky colored ones on the comps that had sold for $25 to $50. So I'll probably put this right around $25, maybe $30, and just be patient. Somebody will see it and it'll remind them of high school and a skiing trip, and maybe they'll buy it and pay up for it. But this here was probably the coolest thing I found today. I'm unaware what the value of this North Face packable hiking hat is, but it's super cool. I couldn't pass on it. I did pay up on it. It was $10. I might just keep this for my own personal collection. I did see a similar one sell for, I think, $40, but I didn't take that much time to look it up because I was ready to bail the clothing store I was in. But nonetheless, this is my haul for the day. Again, very much like last week's video where it was kind of hard to find a lot of items. Sometimes it's just that way. But thank you for following along. If there's something I walked past and missed that was of value, please let me know in the comments. I love to learn more about reselling. I too am a student of this game. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please reach out there, hit that like button, make a comment. I love the feedback, or please subscribe, and we'll do it again next time. I'm out.